The 2026 season just got a whole lot more interesting, and if you're paying attention, you can already feel it. Something is building in Indiana, something real, something dangerous, something that could change everything. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more stories like this, real narratives, real drama, and the moments that actually shape the game, make sure you hit like. Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to the channel so you never miss what's coming next. The cameras were already rolling when Caitlin Clark leaned forward in her chair, her tone calm but unmistakably direct. It wasn't a flashy moment, no dramatic pause, no viral soundbite engineered for social media. But what she said next sent a ripple through the entire WNBA landscape, one that could shape the future of the Indiana Fever for years to come, because when Clark was asked about the team's priorities heading into the 2026 season, she didn't hesitate. Signing Kelsey Mitchell, she said, is the #1 priority. And just like that, everything changed. Now, to understand why this matters, you have to understand the moment we're in. The league is growing faster than anyone predicted. Attendance is up. TV ratings are surging. Merchandise is flying off shelves. And at the center of that explosion is Caitlin Clark, a generational talent who didn't just enter the league, she disrupted it. But here's the twist. This isn't just a Caitlin Clark story. This is about chemistry, loyalty, strategy, and a franchise that's finally starting to believe it can win again. Because for all the attention Clark gets, and make no mistake, she earns every bit of it. The Fever's rise isn't a solo act. It never was. Kelsey Mitchell has been there long before the cameras came. Drafted in 2018, Mitchell has quietly built a reputation as one of the most consistent scorers in the league. Year after year, she carried the offensive load for a team that struggled to find its identity. No spotlight, no hype, just buckets. And then Caitlin Clark arrived. Suddenly, everything shifted. The pace got faster, the spacing got wider. The energy inside the arena changed. And for the first time in years, the Fever looked like a team that could actually matter. But here's what a lot of people missed. Kelsey Mitchell didn't disappear. She adapted. She evolved her game, found new ways to contribute, and embraced the chaos that comes with playing alongside a once-in-a-generation playmaker. While defenses were busy trying to figure out how to stop Clark from launching deep threes or threading impossible passes, Mitchell was doing what she's always done, scoring efficiently and relentlessly. That combination? It's dangerous. And Caitlin Clark knows it. That's why her statement wasn't just casual praise. It was calculated. It was intentional. It was a message not just to fans, but to the front office, to the league, and maybe even to Mitchell herself. We need her. That's what she was really saying. Because here's the reality. Under the new collective bargaining agreement, Kelsey Mitchell is eligible for a supermax contract, reportedly around $1.4 million. That's not just a big number, that's a statement of value, and it puts the Fever in a very interesting position. Do you pay her? Or do you risk losing one of the most important pieces of your roster? Now, on paper, the answer seems obvious. You keep your star players, you reward loyalty, you build continuity. But this is professional sports. Nothing is ever that simple. Because committing that kind of money to one player changes everything else. It affects your cap space, your flexibility, your ability to build depth around your core, and that's where this story gets complicated. The Fever are no longer rebuilding, they're transitioning into something else, something far more dangerous, a contender. And contenders have to make hard choices, but Caitlin Clark just made one thing very clear. She's already made hers. She wants Kelsey Mitchell in Indiana, and that matters more than people think. Because when you're franchise player, your generational talent, your ticket-selling, record-breaking centerpiece goes on national television and publicly backs a teammate like that, it carries weight. It creates pressure. Not the kind of pressure that breaks teams, but the kind that forces decisions. Smart decisions. Because now, if the Fever don't prioritize Mitchell, it doesn't just look like a basketball move, it looks like a disconnect. And that's something you can't afford when you're building around a player like Caitlin Clark. Now let's zoom out for a second. What we're seeing here is bigger than just one contract negotiation. This is about identity. For years, the Indiana Fever were stuck in limbo. Not bad enough to completely rebuild, not good enough to compete. A team searching for direction. Caitlin Clark gave them that direction, but Kelsey Mitchell gave them stability, and together, they might be the foundation of something special. Think about it. You have Clark, a player who can stretch defenses to their breaking point, who can control tempo, who can see plays before they happen, and then you have Mitchell, a pure scorer who can capitalize on every inch of space Clark creates. It's not just complementary, it's symbiotic, and in a league that's becoming more competitive by the year. That kind of chemistry is priceless, but here's where it gets even more interesting. This isn't just about what happens on the court, it's about culture, because when Caitlin Clark publicly supports Kelsey Mitchell, she's doing more than advocating for a teammate. She's defining what kind of leader she wants to be. And that matters, because leadership in professional sports isn't just about scoring points or making highlight plays. It's about trust. It's about respect. It's about making the people around you better, not just physically, but mentally. And in that moment, on that NBC set, Caitlin Clark showed something that doesn't always show up in box scores. She showed awareness. She understands that winning isn't just about talent, it's about keeping the right people in the room now. Let's talk about the pressure this creates for the Fever front office, because make no mistake, they heard that interview, they felt it, and now every move they make will be viewed through that lens. If they re-sign Mitchell, it validates Clark's vision. It signals alignment. It tells the league that Indiana is serious about building something sustainable. But if they don't, that's where things get tricky, because then the questions start. Why didn't they keep her? Was it money? Was it strategy? Or was it something deeper? And in a league where perception matters just as much as reality, those questions can linger. Now, to be fair, there are arguments on both sides. Some will say that committing a supermax deal to Mitchell could limit the Fever's ability to build a deeper roster. That in a league full of rising super teams, depth matters just as much as star power. Others will argue that you don't break up a backcourt like this. That players like Mitchell proven, consistent, adaptably, exactly the kind you invest in. And then there's the wild card Caitlin Clark herself, because as much as this is about Mitchell, it's also about keeping Clark happy, not in a superficial way, in a strategic way, because when you have a player who can transform your franchise, you don't just build around her skill set, you build around her preferences, her comfort, her trust, and right now, she's telling you exactly what she wants. She wants Kelsey Mitchell. Now imagine the alternative. Imagine Mitchell walks. Suddenly, the Fever are searching for a replacement, not just in terms of scoring, but in terms of chemistry. And that's not easy. You can't just plug someone into that role and expect the same results. Chemistry takes time. It takes reps. It takes shared experiences, losses, struggles, breakthroughs, and the Fever have already invested in that process. So the question becomes, do you protect what you've built, or do you gamble on something new? That's the decision, and it's coming sooner than people think, because the 2026 season isn't just another year, It's a statement year. A year where the Fever will either confirm their rise or expose the gaps in their foundation. And right now, all signs point to one thing. They're not interested in taking a step back. Now, let's talk about Kelsey Mitchell for a moment. Because while Caitlin Clark's comments have sparked the conversation, Mitchell herself hasn't said much. She doesn't need to. Her game speaks for her. But you have to wonder what she's thinking. After years of carrying this franchise through its toughest stretches, she finally has help. Finally has a team that looks like it can compete, and now she's in a position where she can choose. Stay. And be part of something that's just beginning, or explore opportunities elsewhere. Possibly with teams that are already established. Contenders, that's not an easy decision. But here's the thing. Moments like this matter, when a teammate especially, one as influential as Caitlin Clark, goes out of her way to publicly support you. It resonates. It tells you that you're valued, that you're wanted. And in a league where players are increasingly aware of their worth, that matters more than ever. So now, the spotlight shifts from the court to the front office, from the players to the decision makers, because the next move belongs to the Indiana Fever, and whatever they decide, it will define not just their 2026 season, but their identity for years to come. Will they double down on continuity? Will they invest in the partnership that's already showing signs of greatness? Or will they take a different path, one that risks disrupting the chemistry they've worked so hard to build? That's the story, that's the tension. And that's why Caitlin Clark's truth bomb wasn't just a headline, it was a turning point. Because sometimes, the most important moments in sports don't happen during games, they happen in interviews, in conversations, in quiet statements that carry very loud implications. And this was one of those moments. A moment that revealed priorities. A moment that clarified intentions. A moment that might have just shaped the future of the Indiana Fever. So now, all eyes are watching. Watching the front office, watching Kelsey Mitchell, watching Caitlin. Waiting to see what happens next, because one thing is certain. The 2026 season just got a whole lot more interesting, and if you're paying attention, you can already feel it. Something is building in Indiana. Something real, something dangerous, something that could change everything. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more stories like this, real narratives, real drama, and the moments that actually shape the game, make sure you hit like. Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to the channel so you never miss what's coming next.